let me ask you a question. Do you find movement is something that you struggle through? That it's something that you have to do? It's something that you feel like you have to make time for, but it just doesn't, you're not feeling it. Or maybe you've got a to-do list that is as long as your arm, and fitness, movement, taking care of yourself is either at the very bottom of that list or not at all. Hey Karen, I'll get you in just one moment. Sorry folks, we've had a few technical issues this afternoon. But if you're new around here, my name is Gillian, or Coach G, and I help folks have fun moving their body, help them achieve their goals. And one of those things is what I've created as my 31-31. It's my 31-day movement accountability challenge. It's there to help support, give accountability, have fun whilst we move our bodies in what's probably considered the most gloomiest month of the year during January. Now, I'm bringing on Karen today, and I will add her in now by Karen's progress that she has made. She joined 31-31 in January and then again in March. And it has been phenomenal seeing Karen's progress throughout the last, almost a year, 11 months. I don't want to steal your thunder, Karen. Hello, by the way.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. But tell me, paint a picture of where you were this time last year before you joined the challenge. What were you doing in terms of your movement? How did you feel about moving your body?
Well, I was doing absolutely nothing in terms of movement, other than doing renovations to my house, which were really hard considering I was basically 3 years out of movement. So I had spent 3 years not doing anything. So I could feel it. I could feel it trying to walk upstairs. I could feel it trying to paint, anything. Little things hurt.
So it's fair to say that you went from zero movement, other than renovating your house and walking up and down your stairs, to running a half marathon 9 months later. Less than 9 months later. Mm-hmm. Yes. And I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I think 31-31 was probably the start of that.
It actually was. I joined the 31-31 last January. I had a student living with me, and we were both kind of blah during the winter. So I thought this would be a good way to get out, discover some new activities, and to encourage her some healthy habits as well. So I signed both of us up, and I stuck with it. I stuck with it for the full month. And the one thing that I loved was the community was so supportive. And there were so many good ideas. So watching everyone's posts every day about what they were doing. So, I don't just have to go and walk. I can go and do something else. So I discovered snowshoeing. I discovered ice skating. I discovered all kinds of things that I could do other than, running or lifting weights. So there's so many other things that got me off my butt and out there, and holding myself accountable, and then holding myself accountable to other people really helped with that community.
Can I read a quote from you that you posted in the Facebook group really early on in January? It's
Sure.
One of the ones that I shared with you before. So it's the 5th of January. I've been taking the challenge one day at a time and honestly didn't think I'd keep up with it. Proud to have made it to the first 5 days. 5 days, and now how many days? Almost 365 later, with pretty much most days you've moved at least once?
Yes, I would say every day there is movement now.
Mm-hmm.
Like movement that is meaningful to me. So I'm aware of what I'm doing now. Absolutely.
And without, this wasn't orchestrated at all, but the next quote that I've got from you was the 8th of March, and you are proud that you're finally moving this year and doing it purposely with an end goal in mind. And I think that was perhaps a key part of it as well, because it wasn't long after working through 31-31 that you then got your 10K, or your sights set on that 10K that you ran early summer, and then had your sights set on the half marathon. And then again, there's a purpose to the movement. It's not moving just for the sake of it, although that's great too, but you're very kind of lasered focused on what the purpose is for moving your body every single day and what that's benefiting you at the end.
Well, I think having a goal to start with was very helpful. So I started small. Well, small for me, I started with a 10K in mind that someone had convinced me to join. So in February, I actually started training with you. And I will never forget that first month, even that first 2 months, the first few times on the treadmill, I couldn't even run 30 seconds and I'd have to stop. And it wasn't easy. It was not easy. There were challenges. There were days where I was just crying because I was so out of shape and I was so overweight and I was so just blah, because everything feeds into everything else, right? So
Mm-hmm.
once you stop the movement, once you stop eating healthy, everything kind of falls in. Um, and it was just sticking with it and having your support as well during that time to say, it's okay to have a bad day. You just get up and do it again tomorrow. So it was literally one day at a time to get to that goal. And 3131 started me with that mindset of one day at a time.
Yeah. And remember, it would have been early this year where you were on your treadmill for your walks and your runs, and you said you wouldn't run outside until you were able to comfortably run 5K. And now I can't get you inside. like, throughout the whole summer, you were constantly outside running. And how does that shift? Like, you don't love being on the treadmill now, and you would much rather be running outside, whereas before you didn't want to go outside. You were just inside in your basement on the treadmill. Just no.
I'll never forget, this was when I was training for my first half marathon, and there was a movie that you made me watch.
I probably
I,
didn't make you do
I
anything.
you suggested. I can't remember the name of it, but was somebody runs a marathon, if you remember it.
Brittany.
Brittany
Brittany
runs a
runs a
marathon.
marathon. Fantastic movie.
If I can suggest that to anybody, I would suggest that because that mindset, I think we all have, and I did have. Absolutely. So running outside for me was, I'm going to be judged because
Mm-hmm.
I can't run more than a few minutes without having to stop, or I can't run fast, or I look dumb when I'm running. So all of that was going through my head, which is why I didn't go outside at first. And which is dumb because the last thing people are going to be doing is looking at me running down the street unless I'm doing a Phoebe run. So,
Or you're
um,
stealing
or
something,
I'm
and people are
stealing
like, "That
something.
thief!"
It's not Ontario here, so you don't generally see people doing that. Um, but yeah, that really resonated with me, and it was a really hard obstacle to overcome. And until I got that confidence, I chose to run inside. But now I don't like running inside. It's boring. If anybody who runs on a treadmill, is so boring. Um, and there's only so many people you can stare at the gym. So
Kind of sounds creepy there.
a little.
So, okay, you started off very little movement. You took one day at a time, and now you're training for your third half marathon and a mammoth hike. What physical or mental challenges did you have throughout that first month? Like, you've talked about one step at a time, but is there anything that you can kind of think back on and like that was a struggle? And I'd just like to kind of understand that a little bit more and what 3131 did to help you overcome those struggles, those challenges.
I think the main takeaway for me was, again, the challenges of feeling defeated at first because I was setting myself up for too much. So I'm like, well, I should
Mm-hmm.
be able to go and run 5K out of the door after sitting on my butt for 3 years. That's not going to happen. So it was very frustrating. And I think for me, using the community in 31 and 31 to help bolster me and to help support me through that was really helpful. But at the end of the day, I had to do it for me. I couldn't do it for someone else. I had to do it for me. I had to get up. I had to get on that treadmill for me. Um, and I started to learn that it was the small wins that were really mattering to me. So if I could run a minute, then that was a win. And I would celebrate that win. That, oh my goodness, I just ran a minute without having to stop. Um, and really taking pleasure in those wins and allowing myself to congratulate myself on that, because we're all different. We all have different struggles. We all have different history. We all have different bodies and minds. So our journey is all going to be different. So I would say do it for you. If it's going to stick, you have to do it for you, and celebrate every little win. Even if it's just getting up, putting your running shoes on and standing on the treadmill, you did it. So don't ever knock yourself down for trying, would be mine.
Love that. And yeah, you're absolutely right. You can't be doing it for somebody else, because at some point the motivation to do it for someone else will peter off. But if you're showing up for yourself and you've got a strong why, and in celebrating each and every win, whether it is you just laced up your shoes and stood on the treadmill, or whether you got off the bus at a stop early and walked for 5 minutes, whatever it is, just celebrating those little wins. And those little wins soon become much larger wins. You're able to run 5K continuous without having to stop. You're able to confidently run outside and not worry about what other people are thinking. Those things add up, and as you were kind of saying, one day at a time. So it's one step at a time, one win at a time, and just showing up every single day for you. And I don't have that quote, but you did write in the Facebook group something along those lines, and I wish I'd written it down because it was really, really good. And that, yeah, you need to do it for you. That's it. You need to do it for you, and you definitely did it for you. When did you start noticing a shift in your mindset?
I would say it was fairly early on in the challenge.
Okay.
I would say honestly, because I think when I posted that first week, um, I would say that's about the time it really changed, like that first week. I was like, okay, this is something I'm doing. It's not a New Year's resolution, and I'm actually sticking with it. And I did stick with it. I think I only missed in the entire month like 5 days or something.
Oh, I've got a post that said you missed 2, but maybe over
Oh,
the whole month it was
yeah, over the whole
5.
month,
But
maybe
yeah,
it was 5. Yeah.
I've got I took a screenshot in the group, and there was 2 days you'd missed.
That was it's pretty good. Yeah, so I think that's when my mind's shift really started, was at the beginning. And things definitely get easier, but I think the the struggle is sometimes becoming complacent. And as you know, I've recently been pretty sick, so becoming complacent. I haven't been able to run now for what, over a week, almost 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So you're always going to have something, like you're always going to have a struggle. You're always going to have. So I'm looking forward to this January to doing it again, because that's a nice reboot for me. That's a nice, let's reconnect. Let's find some new things to do, because I'm always looking for a new movement. And being ready for next year, for everything I have for ready for next year. And not getting into a rut and not becoming complacent, because health is really important, and it is, I think we take it for granted sometimes. So
We definitely do. We definitely do. And that was one of the things that I was very impressed with you in the challenge, in that you were trying all the different types of movements. It was almost a daily logging into the Facebook group, like, what has Karen done today? Because if there was an award for the most types of movement done within the challenge, you probably would have won it, because you were doing skiing, snowboarding, snowshoeing, running on the treadmill, and you had your Bowflex. Like, you were doing a lot of different types of movement, like
and
really throwing
biking, yeah.
yourself in.
Yeah, every day was something different, and I loved watching what other people were doing too. It was so awesome
It
to
was
get that
nice.
inspiration.
Yeah, for inspiration. Like, there was
Yeah.
a girl in January that picked up ballet after having not done it for like 2 decades or something like that. And it was just nice hearing what other people do, because like you said, it's easy to get into a rut. Like for myself, running, walking, or YouTube movement videos, I don't really go to classes. I don't really do like anything outside that requires equipment. And so, yeah, I'm definitely in a bit of a rut. So it's nice to kind of see what other people are doing and what movement people did in as a teenager or as a kid that they're re-exploring. Like, I'd love to do rollerblading or roller skating. Like, it just, yeah, kind of cool just to do something a little bit different, a little bit different. So we talked a little bit about the support in the community. How instrumental was being part of that Facebook group in helping you show up on the days that you just weren't feeling it or were a bit more low on energy or enthusiasm? Did it help at all?
It absolutely did, and I'm going to pull on some learning and development science that I
Love
learned when I
it.
was doing that job. So it is scientifically proven that social media and our connection to social media does trigger different responses in our brains. And one of those responses is people liking our posts and people commenting on our posts. It actually triggers like a happy response in our brain, and it becomes almost
Mm.
addictive. So they have done science about this. And for me, I use that to my advantage because I would post a picture and then I would wait. And when I got those likes and when I got those comments, that was motivation for me to keep going. So instead of it being a bad social media addiction thing, for me, I used it to help me get motivated and to keep me motivated. So it was a little selfishly done, but I knew scientifically it would work, and it did. So
Bring in the science. I love it.
love it.
I love it. Oh, and that's part of the reason why I wanted the Facebook group, for that extra level of support and not necessarily thinking about the science behind getting that dopamine hit, but just to help cheer each other on and create that badass community of people that are all working towards a similar goal. We're all on our different paths, we're all at different fitness levels, we're all enjoying different types of movement, but we are in it together. And yeah, it was very supportive, and yeah, sharing, liking, commenting. Like, yeah, there was so many people declaring new goals and dreams that they hadn't even told friends and family about in this safe space, and we're all just whoop 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 the whole time. I loved it.
It was really fantastic, and yeah, you aren't in it alone when you're doing this community. And if you need, for me, I felt very alone at the time, so getting up and getting motivated to get healthy again was very difficult because I didn't have any support physically, like where I am. So having that online support, it was just instrumental. It absolutely, it began my journey. I give it 100% reason why I started my journey last year. So
And like I said earlier, like, it has been phenomenal watching you transition from, yeah, not wanting to go outside, staying inside on the treadmill, it being a struggle city for a little while, to now, yeah, you're doing so many different types of movement. You've got so many phenomenal goals, certainly for the next 6 months. Like, it's been fascinating and so inspiring watching your journey these past 11-ish months. I can't even imagine like where you're going to be in another 11 months time. Like, what goals will you be crushing coming into 2025? Like,
let's see. I can't wait.
we'll do another live then. We'll do another
We'll
live
do
then.
another live then. Yes, definitely.
What would you say to anybody that is perhaps sitting on the fence about joining 3131? Like, if they're anxious or nervous or they don't know anybody else that's going to be part of the group, so they're a little unsure, what would you say to them?
I would say sit down honestly with yourself and ask yourself why. So why am I on the fence? And then address that. For me, I had to do that. I had to do a little bit of introspection, a little bit of soul searching, which I don't like doing normally. But if you're going to do this and you're going to get a lot out of it, you have to be honest with yourself and you have to be open and ready to do it. So if you're on the fence, absolutely ask yourself why, and then reach out to someone, reach out to a friend, to a family member, to Coach G, and say, hey, I've got this challenge that is preventing me from joining. What do you think? So sometimes you just might need that second motivation as well. Yeah, I don't think I had, I wasn't really on the fence, I don't think. At the time, I just went full force into it. I don't know. It was one of those, I was ready. So, yeah, I think I've learned a lot about myself as well in the past however many months, and what stops me from showing up some days. So, yeah, it's a great learning experience and a great way to overcome any fears and hesitations.
Love that. Yeah, talk to somebody, and feel free to write in the comments if you're watching this as a replay, or yeah, reach out if you do have any questions. I would say that the group are such, well, past groups anyway, I can't talk for the upcoming one because I don't know everybody in the group yet, but everyone is so supportive. And I don't know about you, Karen, but for me, certainly, like, I'm now touch base with a number of the participants fairly regularly because we made that connection during the group. And a lot of people came into the challenge not knowing anybody. There was only a handful of people that knew each other from a running community in a particular area, or it was a friend of a friend that invited the person in. So a lot of us are strangers to begin with, but then, like you were saying, quickly turn to cheering each other on and supporting each other. So if it's a fear of not knowing anybody or not knowing what to expect, just come in, have fun, and just, yeah, whatever fitness level you are at, like, bring it.
Absolutely.
I've got someone asking, you've got a general running question. If you want to put your general running question in the comments, I can certainly get to that. The running experiment. Yeah, sure. Put your comments in. Thank you so much, Karen. Is there anything else that you want to share about 3131 or your experience or anything like that?
Well, I can plug you for a little bit because I love doing that. So,
Oh, this is going to be awkward.
Oh, you're going to blush. My journey over the past 9 months has been life-altering, as you know. And the 3131 challenge started that. And then from that, I went into having you as my coach again for my next half marathon. And during the past 9 months, I have lost 50 pounds. I have gone from not being able to run for 30 seconds to being able to run 21.5 kilometers without stopping.
And not even looking tired at the end.
I was tired. I was just a good actress. But my health, I had some chronic health issues that are now gone. So I would say, and that's actually a good question. I just saw the question. Sorry. I actually do have high blood pressure. So Jillian keeps her eye on me with that too. But yeah, I can't say enough on how much it's changed my life, and how grateful I am for everything over the past 9 months and over the past 8 years or however long we've been working together. So,
well, we've not been working together 8 years, but I've certainly been a cheerleader in your corner for a lot of that, whether I was coaching you or not. But like I said, it has been phenomenal watching your journey, specifically this last year. Like, there's definitely been a huge shift between you running your first half marathon to how you ran the second one. And I'm just, so excited to see what your third one is going to bring. I don't doubt that you'll be getting sub 2 hours and still looking fresh as a daisy at the end.
Let's hope so. Just glistening,
but no
sweat. Yes.
Yeah. But no, it has been an absolute delight, and I'm so happy that 3131 has helped shift how you think about movement and how it has become a lifestyle choice now, and it wasn't just a quick 31-day fun challenge, and how, yeah, it just goes to show that going all in and really having a strong why it's important to you, not doing it for someone else, but like you were saying, for your health reasons, because you didn't want to be out of breath going up and down the stairs, taking laundry out or whatever. And yeah, doing it for yourself. Love that. Love
Absolutely.
it. The run experiment, I will reach out to you separately, because that's a bigger conversation than just chatting on this live. But anybody that is watching this, I will put the details in the description below, or the comments below, if you are interested in checking out 3131. We start on the 1st of January, but get in now, because it's going to be a little different this year. We're going to have calls each month. We're going to have a call on the 1st of January, so not drinking too much on the 31st. We're going to have calls throughout. We've got a leaderboard to track everyone's progress. We're going to have dance parties on a Friday. There's going to be so much good stuff. So get registered ASAP so you can plan the things in your calendar for January. Karen?
Yep. I got to tell you, though, January 1st, I'm doing a polar bear plunge. So I challenge everybody to show up on January 1st with me. There you go.
Do it. I love that. Well, that's could be your movement.
That's my movement.
Well, access to the Facebook group will be a few days beforehand, so maybe you can see if there's anybody else in the group that wants to do it, whether it's virtually or even if there's anybody local to yourself. I know that there's maybe at least 2 people in your household that you could voluntold to participate, maybe?
They will be participating, they just don't know yet. So guess what? Surprise! Merry Christmas.
Love it.
I can't wait to see everybody online. So yeah, join the group. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It is. Karen, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
So glad we were able to get it working today. And I will chat to you very soon. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll chat to you later.
Bye.
Bye.